Hi, I've been working on this problem of exporting movies at 1080p in iMovie 10.1. I hadn't come across any problems at all in the previous versions of iMovie, but in this one, um, for some reason, it was exporting. It was only giving me the option to export in 720p when I knew that there was 1080p footage in the movie I was making. So going to the Apple forums and having a dig around on the web, I've got it cracked. Right, here on my desktop I've got two files subtly called 720 and 1080. Right, and it depends on the order you load them as to what iMovie will allow you to export as. So if you load the 720p movie first, followed by the 1080, it'll only give you, if you look at the settings option here, 720p, and if you go to export it up here as a file, which is what I always do when I'm exporting to YouTube, it gives you the 720p option, and the 1080p option is greyed out. Okay? So we'll delete those off. Now we'll take exactly the same files, load the 1080p one first, followed by the 720p one. These were both filmed with the Dasney out in Church Street in Tewkesbury. And here, if you go to settings, you'll see it says 1080p. And if you go to export to file, you get the 1080p option. Right? Now, this works even if we'll delete these files off again. Now, say I want to export for some reason 720p, a 720p movie that I've shot in 1080p. If I load the 1080p movie first, followed by the 720p movie that I'm interested in, it'll give you, as I've just demonstrated, the 1080p option. But if you delete off this 1080p movie, just leaving the 720p movie in your timeline, you can still export it to 1080p, even though it's just a 720p movie. This wasn't a problem that I'd noticed before. Apparently it was brought in with iMovie 10, but I'd never ever noticed it. And I'm afraid this is one of the bizarre design decisions that Apple makes with iMovie from time to time. I like this new version, apart from this, which confused me, and I've uploaded a few movies in 720p, which I'd rather have uploaded in 1080. So in future, I'm just going to have to keep this 1080p movie on the desktop. Just load that first into any project I'm doing, just to make sure that it exports as 1080p, and then, as I've just demonstrated, you can just delete it off and, create your movie. Yeah, Apple just tries to oversimplify things sometimes. Sometimes they aim for the lowest common denominator, and in so doing complicate things. I love Macs. I've been using Macs since the year dot, but I'm not a member of some sort of cult or something like that. If someone comes up with something better, I'll switch, As it is, I worked in studios where they use Macs and Windows machines, and it's, painfully obvious that the Macs are much better. They just let you get on with your work. Whereas the Windows machines, you're constantly looking for a driver, for a cable or something like that, and you're not nearly as productive. If you don't believe me, just go and look at the latest figures from IBM, who are currently buying tens of thousands of Macs and slashing their support costs dramatically, by millions of dollars. And it's just true, and it's been painfully true for years and years. Well, ever since I've been using Macs, really. Yeah, well, that's it. That's the solution to exporting in 1080p in iMovie 10.1. Thanks very much indeed for watching.